I think I'm going to let you sit down more today, but not for the first song. We got to stand up to get this thing started. This world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. They're all expecting me, and that's one thing I know. My Savior pardoned me, and now I onward go. I know He'll take me through, though I am weak and poor, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Just up in glory land we'll live eternally. The saints on every hand are shouting victory. Their song of sweetest praise drifts back from heaven's shore, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Have a seat.
Good morning, church. How we doing? I'm Jim, and I bet we're going to see Lori in just a second up there. So, Jim and Lori Frazier, we are part of this church and have been for, what did we decide, 20 years? 21 years. And I've had the privilege of serving as a shepherd of this church since 2001, so whatever that is, 17 years or so. So it's my honor and Lori and I's honor to welcome you this morning, particularly welcome the guests who are here with us today. And we just want to share a few things with you this morning. One of the things I want to let you know is that your shepherds will be conducting the service today. So Lori and I are a shepherd couple, as I mentioned, since 2001. Bob is a shepherd. Bob and Shelley are also a shepherd, and he'll be leading our singing. Mike and Diane Graves. Mike will be doing our Lord's Supper thoughts, but Mike and Diane Graves are shepherds. Joe McMillan, our most recent addition. So Joe and Nikki. Joe will be doing the offering a little bit later today. And then Roy Jones is going to bring our message. And Roy and Kathy have been at this church for 4 years? 2 years. It seems like 4. And then Mark and Alice Clark, longtime members. Mark is going to lead our closing prayer. So the shepherds, we just wanted to share with you today. And so Roy's going to bring a message about who we are as a church. Who are we as a church? We're a church family. We really like that terminology. We are a church family. Just like in any family, we have good times, we have bad times. We share with each other. We love each other. That's who we are as a church. And we believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And we worship Him. And we do that collectively together on a Sunday. We spend a lot of time together during the week as church family in small groups and other things. So that's kind of who we are. I want to share a couple of things, and Lori will share a couple of things. So I want you to be aware that 2 weeks from this Sunday, there will be a class we call Discovering Lakewood. It's about 2 hours, and it is everything that you need to know, want to know as a church. We open it up for people that are considering being members or perhaps have already placed membership, said, hey, we want to join with you. But I want to submit to you that there's a lot of us out there that don't know everything there is to know about the Lakewood Church. So I want to open up the doors to submit to you that perhaps 2 Sundays from now, you may want to sign up and say, yeah, I want to go to Discovering Lake. I want to know everything. It's a 2-hour snapshot of who we are as a church. And Steve Curtis leads that. The shepherds, 1 or 2 shepherds will usually be there, shepherd couples. So that sign up is RSVP via your connection card. There'll be a place on your connection card, the little green cards. Oh, and I should mention, if you didn't get one of the bulletins, go ahead and raise your hand, and the guys will come and hand those out. And there'll be in there a place for you to check on your connection card. Hey, I want to go to that. So we tend to think of it as being for newer people, but if you've been here for 20 years, I'll bet you'll get something out of it. The other thing that I want to mention to you is that we're going to have a caregivers, what do we call this? Free class, self-care for caregivers. There are a lot of caregivers in this place. A lot of caregivers, people that are taking care of older family members, younger family members. It doesn't really matter. A lot of caregivers. And this is a place where you will basically get some support and to learn about how to care for yourself as you're caring for that loved one, friend, neighbor, whatever it is. So I think it's going to be a really good class. It's from 9 to 12. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. It's going to be right here in the chapel. And again, on your connection card, indicate, hey, I want to be a part of that. I'll be honest, we haven't had a whole lot of RSVP. So if it's not something that resonates, with a few people, we'll probably not do it. So if it's something you're like, yeah, I'm interested, just didn't get a chance, please make a point of checking that on your card. Okay?
Okay, some more announcements. Valentine's dinner. The Marriage Builders are inviting you to a dinner. Just as Jim and I got old enough to be invited as seniors, they've invited everybody now. So it used to be just for our senior citizens. Now it's for everyone, which is great.
We are seniors.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That is going to happen on February 10th at 6 p.m. The cost is very minimal, $10 per couple, and childcare will be provided. You need to RSVP to our email address, contact@lakewoodscc.net, or call the church office. There's a couples retreat coming up at the Spring Canyon Conference Center near Buena Vista. That is where the elders and leaders went for our recent retreat. It's a fabulous place to go, and the Marriage Builders have prepared this. It's for May 4th through the 6th, and I hope people will go. We used to do a marriage retreat every year when we first started coming here, and it was always something that we looked forward to. It was very encouraging, very helpful, and so I hope many of you will plan to attend that. There'll be more information as the time grows near. And then if you are interested in teaching or volunteering with our children's ministry, Corey would like to invite you today to a lunch and a meeting after church. It's a training, and if you want to come, just tell Corey when you see her in the hall or in here today that you'll be there. She's prepared enough for people who maybe haven't signed up. And then this coming Saturday, January 20th, is a cleanup day for children's ministry. We have lots of toys and various things in all the classrooms that periodically need to be cleaned and gone through and thrown out and added to. So that our focus will be to clean up and wash. Everyone is welcome. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take a degree to do this kind of work, so come and help out. Lunch and snacks will be provided, and you can RSVP on the green connection card. So I'm off to the nursery. See you later.
Thank you all.
Jim talked about the fact that we are a family. We indeed are a family. And we have a good, good Father. So let's sing about that.
I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Love so undeniable, I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable, I can hardly speak as you tell me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love, love, love. You're good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Not only do we have a good, good Father, that good, good Father loves us deeply. He has a son he loves deeply. But he was willing to let that son leave his side and come to this earth. We usually think about the fact that he gave himself up for us and died on a cross. And we're going to focus on that some this morning. Mike's going to talk to us about that. But before that, he took the time to show us who the Father is. That's very important because that's who we try to model. We try to be like the Father. Sometimes Jesus is called the cornerstone. Today we build buildings out of steel and glass a lot. But for ages, buildings were built from stone. And it was very appropriate at that time to understand the significance of a cornerstone. The square lines of a cornerstone. They were the pattern for the building. It's what made the building beautiful, made its lines so clean. It also established the strength of the building. It made the building strong to be able to stand up to storms. Jesus is our cornerstone. So we're going to sing about that now.
My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name.
We'll do that again.
My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. Christ alone, cornerstone, we make strong in the Savior's love through the storm. He is Lord. His unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. My anchor holds within the veil. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of when He shall come with trumpet sound. Oh, may I then in Him be found, dressed in His righteousness alone, faultless stand before the throne, faultless stand before the throne, faultless stand before the throne.
That song talks about the fact that there will be storms. He will take care of us. He will walk us through, but there will still be storms. Choosing to be a child of His does not mean the problems of life all just magically go away. They're still very real. And when you assemble a group of people this size, you know that there are people going through those storms right now. Either you are going through some storms right now, or you're sitting very near someone who is. It may be money. Money's a common storm. It may be a job. Some issue with the job that makes that job a problem. Or maybe the issue with the job is that there isn't one, which goes back to the money problem. Maybe it's not a money problem that you're dealing with. Maybe it's a relationship issue, a broken relationship with a friend, a spouse, a parent, a child, a neighbor, a fellow employee, a schoolmate. Maybe that's not it. Maybe your body is letting you down. Maybe it's due to age, or illness, or injury, or maybe it's not your body. Maybe it's the body of a loved one. Or maybe you've lost that loved one. There are storms in life. There are trials. Jesus was the cornerstone that showed us God, and He showed us a lot of things about how we need to live, and He showed us how to deal with the trials, with the storms. When we look at Him in the garden, He begged His Father to take this thing away. I think he saw it like a mountain that was just in front of him that he did not want to climb. It was something he did not want to deal with, and he begged his father to take it away. I think sometimes we lose that. He begged his father to take it away with tears rolling down his face. He did not want to go through it, period, at all. But he said, Father, if I need to go through it, if that's your will, then I will do it. He saw that he would be doing God's will. Either God could take it away, or he would be honoring God to do it, to walk through it, to climb the mountain, to deal with the problem. It's not easy dealing with the problems. Sometimes very uncomfortable. And not only is he going to walk through the problem with us, he's also not limited by time, so he's already on the other side, and he's beckoning us to him to come through the problem. Keep our eyes on him as he guides us through this problem. For the most part, we're going to have Stacy sing this song, but you all are welcome to join her. It's not just her singing by herself. We're going to sing that it is well.
Moved by the sound of his voice, seas that are shaken and stirred can be calmed and broken from my regard. Through it all, my eyes are on you. Through it all, it is well. Through it all, my eyes are on you. It is well with me. Far be it from me to not believe, even when my eyes can't see. And this mountain that's in front of me will be thrown into the midst of the sea. And through it all, my eyes are on you. Through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you. It is well. It is well. So let go, my soul, and trust in him. The waves and wind still know his name. So let go, my soul, and trust in him. The waves and wind still know his name. So let go, my soul, and trust in him. The waves and wind still know his name. The waves and wind still know his name. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It through it all, my eyes are on you. It is
in thee. Let me not be ashamed, let not my enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that way on thee be ashamed. Yea, let none that way on thee be ashamed. Oh my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed, let not my enemies triumph over me. Remember not the sins of my youth. Remember not the sins of my youth. Oh my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed, let not my enemies triumph over me. Kids, it's your time.
Class time. We've got special classes set up for the kids of the ages that you see on the screen and the various room numbers. If you're visiting with us, please let your kids go with ours. They will have a good time with things of their age level, and they'll have fun with their friends. We need to stand up and sing one song, though. I let you sit down way too long.
These are the days of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days
of your servant
Moses' righteousness being restored. And though these are days of great trials, of famine and darkness and sword, still we are the voice in the desert, crying, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill, salvation comes. These are the days of Ezekiel, the dry bones becoming as flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, building the temple of praise. And these are the days of the harvest. The fields are as white in the world. And we are the laborers in your vineyard, declaring the word of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill, salvation comes. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill, salvation comes.
Amen. Please be seated.
Good morning, church. Is it wonderful to be here today? Say amen. Amen. As you heard earlier, It's going to be, all of us who have been up here today are shepherds at Lakewood. And we have a vision on our hearts, and we wanted to kind of share that with you today and to let you know what we're thinking and what we need from you. We feel the burden of what's going on around us. I mean, the leaders of Lakewood, including myself, feel the burden of God's call to bring relief to those who are suffering in the world, those who are struggling. The world is hurting. And they don't need someone to judge them. They need someone to walk alongside them. And that's our job here. The Gospel of Mark tells us this about Jesus. It says, He had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. The Son of God saw how people were struggling. The struggle didn't start yesterday. It didn't start the week before or the month before. It's been a struggle ever since humankind has lived on this earth. Jesus himself called those who were struggling, saying, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." We're here to relieve burdens. We're here to help people in their struggles. We're not here to judge. And that's what we want the world to know. We're here to walk beside you in your struggles. We want you to come. We want you to bring your struggles with you. And let us work with you to overcome those. People struggled in the first century with many of the things that we struggle with today. Some things haven't changed. And look around you in Lakewood. What do you see? People around us are trying to get to a better place. But they need help. They don't need judgment. They need our help. They need the kind words, the hugs, the hand to lift them up. Most of these stats that I'm going to share with you are from about 2015 on. Most of them have to do with Colorado. The divorce rate in Colorado is about 41% for first marriages. 60% for second marriages. 74% for third marriages. A child of divorce is 4 times more likely to get a divorce. The stats show that it's coming down some, but some believe that that may be because couples are choosing not to get married because they've seen so many people suffer. Single parents struggle to nurture and feed and clothe their families. This is happening all around us. Addictive behaviors are devastating to family. Colorado says that drug-related deaths are up in every county. 12 counties in Colorado have the highest death rates from drug overdose in the country. We struggle with suicide because those who are in this land around us have lost hope. They don't know where to turn. We have the answer for that. We can help them. I've worked with families who have had suicide in their family. And it's hard to watch the struggle. And I don't want that for families. We have the answer. Poverty is high. 3 in 10 families struggle to make ends meet. And it may be more than that. Child abuse is rampant. 2,000 children were abused physically or sexually assaulted in 2015. And that's just those numbers, and not all of them are reported. Families are struggling. All of this is happening around us in our community, in our neighborhoods, even in our own churches, and sometimes in our own families. Many have been touched by Satan, and they're struggling. I personally believe that God is calling Lakewood to reach out to the community of Lakewood and to the surrounding cities with a message of hope. The leaders have been given a vision to reach every household in Lakewood with this message of hope within 10 years, and then to reach out to the surrounding towns and cities. Every one of the men that I meet with have a deep burden that they carry. We struggle about how to get that message out. We struggle constantly in prayer for Lakewood and for all of you because we love you. Lakewood is just the starting place. It's a starting place of something great that is about to happen. God is going to use us to do some great things. You may ask why. Who are we? I like the way Paul put this in his letter to the Thessalonian church. And he's praying for them, and he says this: we continually remember before our God and Father your work produced by faith, your labor prompted by love, your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. He told them that they're the community of Christ whose work is produced by faith, a labor prompted by love, endurance inspired by hope in Jesus Christ. And that speaks to us as well. We are the community of Christ in this place. As you look at the work at Lakewood, you see several things. First of all, if you notice on our slide here, and this is just one of the slides, there are 23 ministry opportunities at Lakewood. We are working. And we can see your faith in the jobs that you do. James says that faith is completed by works in James 2:22. Some of these ministries are led by people with passion for helping their fellow man. Well, all of them are. People who came to church and said, let us do this. Let us help people. We were sitting in a meeting this morning before services, and someone said, can so-and-so, can we get them to do this for us? And we said, yes. If you have a passion, we want to hear about it. If you want to be involved, we want to hear about it. We have a place for you. There's a place for everyone here. In just a few minutes, I'll mention a couple of ministries specifically that have had an impact on our church community. There are many others you can be involved in. Everyone has a place here. All of you are a valuable part of our ministry. It doesn't matter who you are. You have a talent, and God put you here for a reason. Paul said they labor, and that their labor was prompted by love. In Romans 13, 8 through 10, Paul says, "Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For he who loves his fellow man has fulfilled the law. The commandments: do not commit adultery, do not murder, do not steal, do not covet, and whatever other commandment there may be, are summed up in this one rule: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to its neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law." I like the class that Kim Natalia is teaching on Sunday mornings. And one of the things that he points out is that God requires mercy more than he does law keeping. We have the laws out there, but God wants mercy. He wants us to show mercy to those around us. When the first century church got started, it must have looked really overwhelming. Just a small group of individuals against the whole world. In fact, they may have even thought that it was undoable. But the love of God in their hearts and their love for their fellow man drove them to keep going in spite of the odds. Love can overcome obstacles that seem insurmountable to us. It can. I've seen it happen. One of the things that we have done here as we've looked at our vision of reaching out into the community, as we've talked about how we're going to do that. And that's through the ministries that you just saw on the slides a while ago. But we call that HOPE. That's our acronym for our pathways. Hurts, hang-ups, and habits. And speaking to those who are struggling with depression, those who are struggling with addiction, and drugs and depression and those kinds of things, they go hand in hand. Sometimes people start out with depression and they go to drugs to get away from that. But Christ has the answer to that. I want to read a testimony to you. And this is a testimony from one of the individuals who has been in CR and is struggling. He says this: I'm a grateful believer in the Lord Jesus, and I struggle with porn and sex addiction. I'm so thankful for Celebrate Recovery that the Lakewood Church has made this opportunity available to the church and the community. Over the past year, CR has helped strengthen my relationship with God. I am more self-aware and God-aware than I ever have been. These two things have helped me in my sinful nature, helped me struggle with my sinful nature. I have developed some close friendships that a year ago I didn't think I could have imagined. I have accountability partners, a sponsor who helped me through the recovery principles that are found in the Scriptures. Going through what we call step studies has been one of the best things that I could have done. It's helped me to openly examine and confess my faults to God and to others and to myself. I've found a freedom that I didn't have before. I've been able to take self-inventory to get insight into how I got where I am, both the mistakes and the victories. This understanding has prompted me to make amends for hurts that I've caused and has given me the freedom to forgive others for what they've done to me. It's been a huge encouragement to see other people turning their lives over to Christ's care and control, it motivates me to do the same, and it challenges me to be a better example in my own life. I have seen real changes happen in me and others this past year. I know that I'm not alone in my struggles, and it feels great to have a safe place I can come to each week where I don't have to wear a mask. And I can be brutally honest without fear of being judged or condemned. I know now that I'm not alone. I know that there are others who struggle with the same thing. Satan convinced me to try to hide my addiction for a long time. And as a result, it caused severe damage to a number of people, including myself. And I know that it also hurt God. What a relief to find others who can understand and have walked the same dark road I have. Don't get me wrong. I definitely still face challenges. But I have a hope now that I didn't have before, that this addiction will be overcome as I continue to surrender control to God and to rely on Him and on my forever family at Lakewood. God has already changed my desires, my thoughts, my heart, my behavior. I've seen more progress than ever before. I feel like God can work through me now, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. Not only is He making me stronger, He's been giving me opportunities to help others who are stuck in their hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Thank you so much for providing this life-changing ministry. That's just one of the individuals that CR has helped in the past year. Overcoming financial burdens is another step in our reaching out to our Lakewood, the people in Lakewood who are struggling. You know, finances are one of the top causes of divorce in the country. Do you know that? Struggling with finances. We have a ministry here, Financial Peace University, and that's run by Gary Tucker and Kristen, and they have, it's amazing the stories that they've told of people who have gotten their finances under control and have been able to get out from under that debt burden that they carry. And they offer it to the community. We've had people come here to attend this that don't go to Lakewood regularly. And then parenting. We have a wonderful staff. Steve, as he supports the CR, Bree, as she supports the youth, and then Corey, as she supports the children, and all of the things that come with those individuals. And Bree and Corey's husbands are right there beside them. In fact, Bree's husband is right beside her right now. But it's wonderful to see these couples working with our children. In fact, we are planning upcoming classes on parenting, which we eventually plan to offer to Lakewood community and the towns around. And then enriching marriages. As we reach out to those who are struggling in their marriage and trying to figure out how to make it work. And Chris and Lisa came to the elders some time ago and asked if they could start a marriage builders ministry. And you saw evidence of that today. I want to read something that they wrote. The marriage builders ministry started about 2016. At that time, the team knew of a married couple that was really struggling in their relationship. Each of them brought wounds from the past into their marriage, as well as created wounds to each other during their marriage. There were strong feelings of desperation and hopelessness and frequent talk of divorce. I know what that's like. I grew in a home where that was constantly talked about. They started to get plugged in with marriage builders first by attending Sunday morning classes. They still had struggles in their marriage, but now they had some new hope and direction from the practical things they were learning to apply to their relationship. In time, they connected with other couples in the class, including some of our trained coach couples. They were gradually bonding with other couples through all these different interactions. They were also growing in encouragement because they knew that people were rooting for them, supporting them through marriage builders. Also, they were encouraged to hear that normal couples struggle at times. And by focusing on their own personal growth, their marriage could be renewed to being better than ever before. Recent conversation with this couple has shown that instead of talking about divorce, they're enjoying times of deeper connection and friendship. They have also become inspired and are now reaching out to distressed couples with the hope that was given to them. Supernatural transformation has taken place, not only in their marriage, but in each of them individually. Those are just two of the ministries. Bree and Corey could tell you stories about changes that were made in children's lives and their parents' lives. There are a lot of ministries. Many of you are involved in those. You know, we know what's going on around us. I mean, it's obvious. And we have these pathways to reach out to those individuals. One of the things that we need from you, and this comes, I'm sure that all of the shepherds would agree with me on this, is as we conclude today, is first, pray daily. Pray for your leaders to see God's vision for Lakewood and give them the courage to walk out, to lead. Pray for God to open our hearts to the people of Lakewood. There are so many people around us who need to hear this message that haven't heard it, or they don't believe that they're welcomed. We want them to feel welcome, to feel comfortable here, because we are about what God is wanting. Pray that all of us will have the passion for hurting and the courage to reach out. Second, I want you to prayerfully consider giving some of your valuable time to one of the 23 plus ministries we have at Lakewood. There is a place for you. You will fit in. I guarantee it. And contact our ministry staff. They'll guide you. If you don't see a ministry that fits you and you have a passion, come to us. Share it with us. Consider starting a ministry you're passionate about. And three, prayerfully consider supporting our vision for the coming year. We have great things about to happen, and we're going to need support for those. Consider increasing your contribution by 4%. We're anticipating an increase in needs because of programs we're implementing in this coming year. Our staff and ministry leaders have increased their budget requests as they reach further into our community. God is using His people here to do great things. He's doing great things through Lakewood, and He can do things beyond our wildest imaginations. All we have to do is just join the work. It's going on. And last, I'd like to read this verse to you. And this is a prayer of Paul for the Ephesian church. And as he ends that prayer, this is how he ends it. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, to him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. To him who is able to do immeasurably all that we ask. Consider joining us in this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Mark, come on up. We'll have you lead a prayer here in just a moment. Hopefully you filled out those little cards. I think they're green that were in your bulletin. Pass those towards the center of the room. We've got some guys that are going to come by and pick those up for us. At the end of every assembly, we typically have our shepherds go to the back of the room for people to pray with. But this morning, I would like to take just a moment and point out some other people, particularly to new members that you may not know, or you
I thank you. Thank you for loving and setting me free. Thank you for giving your life just for me. How I thank you. Jesus, I thank you. that you've done, I will thank you. For all that you're going to do. For all that you promise and all that you are is all that has carried me through. Jesus, I thank you. And I thank you. Thank you, Lord. And I thank you, Lord. Thank you for loving and setting me free. Thank you for giving your life just for me. Now I thank you.